How's it going? So in today's video we're taking this GeoFought G14 on a little range test, see how far we can get it. Alright, so like with all my range tests, I'm going to be testing in full power mode. On this it means dual motor mode, power mode 3, and sport throttle. I'll be using this little GPS app to track my distance and speed and all that kind of thing. So the acceleration on this thing in dual motor mode, in like sport acceleration, is like super twitchy, but not torquey, if that makes any sense. So like it's really twitchy like when you go, but like when it's not like pulling super hard or anything like that. It does get up to speed just fine, and it is a fast scooter. If you haven't seen my other videos on this and know much about it, here's a quick spec overview. Okay, so we can go over the specs a little bit. So this is a dual motor. Each wheel has a 5,000 watt claimed motor. It's got these small little rotors. I'm not really sure what size they are, and it has dual piston hydraulic brakes. Integrated into the frame there is a 72 volt 40 amp hour battery. It comes with like a lot of lights. It comes with these two lights here, then this big light bar, and it's super bright. Here, I'll show you a little clip of them. It's actually really bright. See, it's lighting up my entire backyard. And it's also got these brake lights and turn signals in the rear. There's a tail light here. Turn signals look pretty sweet. It's actually two. You can see there's one under here, and then there's one back here. It does fold all the way down by pulling this lever here. It's got non-adjustable forks in the front and dual coil shocks in the rear. Comes with this removable seat. You can see a pretty basic display. Has your charge state, what power modes you're in, what throttle modes you're in, and then down here it shows like you're in either single motor or dual motor mode. The brakes are branded K-TET. The levers are pretty comfortable. You got like a half throttle here. Pretty decent grips. Then here you got your horn. Not too loud. Your turn signal switch. This turns your RGB on. Here's a quick video of the RGB. You see the RGB looks pretty cool. It's actually pretty bright. There's a bunch of different modes you can change it to. I don't even know what mode I have it on right now, but it's pretty cool. And then your headlight switch. And that's pretty much it. Hey guys, please, before we go any further, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, please. Really trying to make it 10,000 subscribers. That's my goal. Can you help me with that? Just hit that button. Also like, comment, and it really helps the video if you watch to the end. You know, and I actually have no idea how they actually calculate this 5,000 watt motor thing. Because usually, you know, you really calculate the wattage of an electric vehicle based off of, you know, maximum continuous line amps times nominal voltage, right? And I'm not really sure what that is for this bike. You know, I'll try to find out before I publish this video, and if I do find out, I'll post it right up here. So it cruises 40 miles an hour, no problem. At top speed, I think hits 55 miles an hour. The seat is pretty close to the handlebars, so my arms are, you know, pretty bent, but it's not like uncomfortable or anything. It just kind of feels a little weird to me. These stand-up scooters just feel weird to me in general because I'm not used to them at all. So in my previous videos, I had some criticisms of the scooter. The first being just the quality of the assembly when you receive it. There's typically, on GeoFought scooters, you got loose bolts everywhere, and you really have to go through with the fine-tooth comb and tighten everything up, and they don't use Loctites in their bolts. So that was the first criticism. Since the first video came out, they've contacted me and told me that they're now using Loctite on their bolts, and they gave me a little picture I think I could share here. Another criticism I had was I really like that it has turn signals, but just in the rear. It doesn't have turn signals in the front, and so they told me they've added turn signals in the front now, so anybody buying this scooter now will have the turn signals in the front. And then the last criticism I had was just like the play in the stem here just feels a little sketch, and they've added a new part to stiffen it up to make sure that play isn't there, and to make sure there's no like vibration at high speed, because at high speed there is some vibration in the handlebars. There's no wobble, thank God. It feels pretty planted. but it's just you get like a vibration, probably just because you know you get this like play in there. So they said they took care of that, and they're actually shipping me a little bolt-on part I can just retrofit to the scooter to get rid of that. You know, a lot of bikes, especially new ones or scooters, are going to have problems when they first come out, but it's nice to see that a manufacturer is actually responsive to feedback and they make the changes. They made them quick too. Yeah, 72 volts, 40 amp hours. I'll put the watt hours right here. I'm guessing most likely 35 miles of range. That, you know, of course, in full power mode, dual motor full power mode. So if you're in a lower power mode just doing one motor, you're obviously going to get way better range than what this is. This is kind of a worst case scenario because I am 275 pounds in full power mode, so most people are going to get much better range than this. These scooters are a great way to get around though if you're using it for like commuting or just bombing around, because you can get pretty far. They go fast. You can definitely keep up with traffic in most situations. Obviously you don't want to take them on the highway or anything like that, but so I'm going to full throttle this takeoff right here. Yeah, see, I'm full throttle. It's not the torquiest thing in the world. You know what's funny about this? So this bike claims to be a 10,000 watt bike, dual 5,000 watt motors. But I have my Extreme Bull K6, which is dual 3,500 watt motors. And that thing will absolutely annihilate this thing in every way. Top speed, torque, everything. It'll smoke these cars. It'll smoke anything, but like maybe like a Tesla off the line. So it's just, I just don't see how they're claiming this is more powerful than that. It's just like, how do you calculate these kind of things? I recently bought a stealth bomber style bike, and it was sold as a 20 kilowatt bike. So in knowing how you calculate the kilowatts, nominal voltage times max continuous line amps, that's it. So after I received the bike, I realized, no, it's bullshit. It's actually a 12 kilowatt bike. Not even 12, 11 point something, because it was 160 continuous line amps at 72 volts. And I contacted them and said, you guys are full of shit, you lied to me. And they're like, oh no. So they were multiplying not the nominal voltage, but the full charge voltage of 84 volts. And they were multiplying by the max boost amps in the controller, which they had at 270. And that's total bullshit. The whole industry knows how to calculate kilowatts and kilowatt hours. These companies are lying. They're just straight up lying. So if you buy one of these, you have to make sure you want how the bike is tuned, what is the max continuous amperage of the battery, you know, what is the voltage, all that kind of stuff. You want to make these calculations yourself when you're buying these things. That way you can get a realistic and accurate picture of the performance. Alright, let's see. I'm almost 6 miles in. I've already lost 2 bars. Of course, that's going to be due to voltage sag. Once I stop, that's probably going to increase. That's another thing that really annoys the crap out of me about these scooters and bikes, is not having the actual voltage or percentage on the screen. These bars, they don't mean shit. I gotta say, it is a pretty smooth, comfortable ride though, and it is fast. It'll go 55 miles an hour. That's terrifying on this thing. That's faster than I want to go. The brakes I've broken them in. They're pretty good. They're sufficient. I gave them a little bit of criticism, but now that they're bedded in, they actually feel pretty good. So actually a pretty nice day out here in Houston. You know, when you're in parking lots and stuff like this and you want to have a lot of control over your acceleration, you really got to put it like in a lower power mode or single motor, because it's just too twitchy in that dual motor sport mode. You just don't have a lot of control. It's a nice little area to come chill out, do some fishing. There's giant catfish in there. I think there's even flounder, redfish, all that kind of stuff in there. There's these black and white striped ones. I forget what they're called. They look like giant convict cichlids, basically. Sheep's wool or sheep's head or something like that. Goat's head. You know, I might just keep this thing in comfort for throttle, just to avoid the twitchiness, because it doesn't seem like... Can I get right here? No. Well, I can. Yeah, the acceleration feels a lot better in comfort mode than sport. And I still think it has the same top speed and power and everything like that. It just kind of chills out the throttle a bit. You know, I'm getting a lot of voltage sag already, down to 2 bars. I've only gone not even 9 miles. This thing was 100% charged when I left. I mean, it goes back up to 4 bars when I let off the throttle, but still. Let's do a nice mix of riding. Usually I'll take the sidewalk here down back this way, and then I'll head towards one of my other favorite spots to go. I mean, it's definitely fun, that's for sure. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with a lot of these electric vehicles. They're definitely fun. It's hard to really, I mean, you really got to be screwing up to sort of miss the fun department. One thing I do like about this scooter a lot compared to other scooters I've ridden is it doesn't have that stupid trigger throttle or thumb throttle. It has an actual twist throttle. I mean, that's what I'm used to. That's what I prefer. It feels way more intuitive controlling the throttle with the twist. You know, there was another GeoFought scooter I reviewed. I think it was the M10, and that was actually a 60 volt scooter. I think I only had a 35 amp hour battery. I think I did a range test on that and I got 35 miles out of it. But that thing was way more torquey than this. It's kind of interesting because this is a 72 volt. Oh, and that one was a 6,000 watt, so it was still 3,000 watt motors, and that thing ripped. This thing's way more subdued than that one. I don't see how this is it's not 5,000 watts, guys. Motors, they're just simply not. I'm gonna find out what the battery specs are, and I'll put it up on the screen right here, and we'll find out exactly what this scooter's actually pushing. And they should just sell it like that. I mean, it'll go 55 miles an hour. I don't understand why companies, especially Chinese companies, I notice, they insist on lying about the numbers. You know what I mean? And then you get it, and it's like you got a bad taste in your mouth because you feel like, you know, the companies are not being honest with you, and it's not going to be a good reputation for your brand. Just be honest about what the actual power is. If you want to make a powerful, you know, 10, 15, 20 kilowatt bike, do it. Don't fudge the numbers. Anyways, enough of that. Cop was going by back there, and I was only going 28 miles an hour, so if he hit me, I don't think he would, but if he did, I was going legal limit. I should get back on the street up here at the light, though. Definitely running out of room here. Just vegetation getting a little overgrown. You know, the voltage sag is kind of scaring me a little. I don't know if I'm going to hit my second spot or if I'm just going to go back towards home. I mean, with a 40 amp hour battery, I should have plenty of battery left. Yeah, I'll just go to my next spot. It should be fine. One thing I don't really like about this seat is it's got a spring on it, so, you know, it makes it a little bit more cushy and comfortable to ride, but it kind of like sways back and forth like one of those little pony spring rides you see at playgrounds. It is kind of noisy when I go over like bumps and stuff like that, but the suspension does do a good job of absorbing them. It's not uncomfortable. Yeah, like that one right there was like this right here. Yeah, that's kind of loud, but it's not uncomfortable. It eats up the bumps pretty good. Here's a big one. Ooh, I felt that, but you know, right, same. Suspension's doing a pretty good job. Now, the vast majority of this ride is, you know, going 40 miles an hour, so you got to take that into consideration too. If I was, you know, maybe I'll jump on the sidewalk up here and get more of a good mix type riding range. Yeah, it's a nice leisurely range. You know what I'm curious about? Like, if I get tired of sitting down, can I just stand up? Yeah, I can. Oh, that's cool. If your butt starts to hurt or something like that, you just stand right up. There's enough room for your back foot to fit alongside the seat back there. And then you can hold, see? I don't know if you can see that, but I don't know if you can see past my belly. But yeah, but it feels pretty good. Yeah, comfort mode is where it's at for throttle for sure. You don't get that crazy twitchiness, but you still get the same sort of acceleration. And then when you're ready to sit back down again, boom, you're good to go. You know, usually I see at least 1 or 2 deers when I go out and ride around. I haven't seen any in the last few times I've been riding. Interesting. I have seen an alligator recently, though. There's one right next to my house. It's a one-eyed alligator. Looks like a small version of that one from Happy Gilmore. All right, here's my next favorite spot right here. It's called Mud Lake or something like that. It's a brackish lake. There's supposed to be a lot of alligators in here, but I've never seen one. All right, so now we're down to 3 bars off the throttle. And we are at 14 miles. So I think this scooter has the option to come with 14-inch off-road tires or 13-inch road tires, I believe. I don't think they have the 14-inch ones in stock in the US. You probably have to order it and have it shipped from China, but they definitely have it. GeoFought has some pretty crazy scooters. They have some that are like 100 amp hour batteries. And they have this one that has 150 amp controllers. It's like a race one. I kind of want to get my hands on one of those, but they are kind of pricey. GeoFought, if you're watching this, with the Molo 5, the M10, and now this, I've given you guys a lot of promotion. You could support me and my channel by sending me one of these scooters. I've asked them to do that before. You know, they want videos from me, they want promotion, they want sales, but you know, they don't want to provide anything to me for some reason. I don't get it. But I really would like to review that race scooter. I could probably get a lot of reviews, a lot of views on that. I like to take a little break right here, just kind of walk out, see if I can see any gators out there. I'm always on gator watch. Honestly, guys, when you think Houston, you don't think this kind of thing, do you? I don't really see anything. There's a family over here. I don't really want to make them feel uncomfortable with me filming, so I'll just go back. Man, it's got a nice breeze today. It's not too humid. It's perfect weather to be out messing around. So if you guys are going to be interested, I'm going to be listing this on Facebook Marketplace pretty much right after this video goes live. I'm not sure how much I'm going to sell it for yet. Probably, I'm thinking around 2,000. Depends how much they sell for new. I usually like to give people a pretty damn good deal. I just want to get my money back, maybe make 100 or two, you know, off of it, because I get these wholesale. And yes, I do pay for the vast majority of things that I review on my channel. I have gotten some free ones. I've gotten 5 free bikes so far. I had way more that were coming until the tariffs, and literally four of the companies pulled out after the tariffs and saying they couldn't afford it. So hopefully they can come to some sort of resolution and negotiate. Oh shit. You know, I hit a big bump back there and I think I might have broke something. I'll have to pull over up here once I get off this busy street and check. Getting pretty heavy vibrations from the rear there. So this is the kind of thing that really frustrates the hell out of me. You see this thing? It's all broken and stuff. Just off one bump. And it's crooked. And look at these screws right here. Look at that thing. I tightened that. Shit. And this, look at this. Well, that sucks. Alright, so I'm 16 miles in. Voltage sag is taking me down to 1 bar. No voltage sag has me at 3. Again, I've just been hauling ass the entire time. I'm doing 45 right now. But I'm gonna have to slow it down though. I think I don't want to get power cutouts before I get close to home. The other thing I like a lot about the scooter is just how quiet it is. All you hear is the wind, and it does actually feel pretty stable when you're riding it. Like you can go high speeds and not feel like you're gonna crash or anything like that. It feels pretty planted. You know, with all the e-bike laws and stuff like that and different states cracking down, people getting their shit impounded, I was thinking it might be fun to do like a kind of like a sleeper build. You know, something that's 72 volts, maybe 14 kilowatts, but just make it out of like a regular hardtail mountain bike, maybe like a Trek or something like that, you know? Like a 27-inch wheels, 26-inch wheels, something like that. Because you can actually get a 72 volt, 40 amp hour battery bag that kind of hangs in the triangle of those things. You have that Sabaton or Sabatron, whatever that controller is called, you know, and mount it, and then run maybe probably a QS205 3.5T, you know, so you have a really good balance of torque and acceleration, or maybe even a 4T, I don't know. Yeah, probably like a 4T, because you're going to have those bigger wheels. You're going to want a higher torque motor. But yeah, I got so much crap I still have to make videos on and fix and record and sell and stuff like that. But I think once I get through the next like maybe 4 or 5 months worth of content and start selling a bunch of the stuff I have, I'm going to do one of those builds. And I also want to do like, I want to register something. Like just get something street legal that's fast. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for that. But I really need something that's super high range, has a huge battery capacity, The bike I'm kind of thinking about a lot is the Arctic Leopard EX800 because you can get it with a 72 volt 75 amp hour battery, and it runs 25 kilowatts too, so it's pretty insane. All right guys, we just hit 20 miles and we're at 2 bars with no voltage sag. Still able to hit 45 miles an hour, no problem. Okay, I gotta stand up for a minute. My butt hurts. Ah, what a fun ride. Yeah, my butt's going to be hurting all week because that's all I'm filming this week is range test. The next one's going to be my Stealth Bomber style bike. That thing's got a 70 amp hour battery. So that's, well, claimed 75 amp hours from the company, but when I got into the controller it said 70, so I'm taking that as a source of truth. Anywho guys, I'm going to just run this battery down and then we'll touch bases when it's done. Yeah, check this out. I also shattered my front fender there. So that thing screwed up. I shattered the front. I mean, it wasn't even that big of a bump, and those things are just destroyed. So these need to be upgraded to some stronger plastic, and there needs to be some way to create more room between these fenders and the actual tires, so they're not like rubbing and breaking every time you hit a bump. The battery's getting pretty low now, but the top speed stays, so that's a really good thing too. You don't get a huge drop off in speed when the battery's low. All right, just hit 25 miles down to 1 bar with no voltage sag. All right, 27 miles, still 1 bar, still not in limp mode. All right, I'm getting a blinking battery now and I'm in limp mode, so I'm heading back home. I'll tell you the exact amount I get when I get there, if I make it. I should make it, it's not too far. It is barely going, but it's going. Okay. So you can see we got 0 battery and we were at 28.22. I mean, it barely had enough power to get up right here. So I'm going to call that, I mean, it'd be out of juice in another like 1/10 of a mile or something like that. So I'm calling it 28 miles from full to empty, going full power mode the entire time. 72 volts, 40 amp hours. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching to the end. I appreciate it so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.